In this section, we're going to go ahead and look at transformations and how they affect exponential. In this section, we're going to go ahead and look at transformations and how they affect exponential functions. This is example number 4. And we want to go ahead and sketch the following graphs. In part A, we'll be looking at h of x is equal to 2 raised to the x minus 4 plus 1. In part B, we'll be looking at f of x is equal to 3 minus 1/5 raised to the x. And in part C, we'll be looking at nothing. There's no part C. Let me go ahead and start part A on the new page. In part A, we wanted to graph h of x given by 2x minus 4 plus 1. So again, we're going to use the strategy that we saw in the past. First, we'll rewrite our function using y. So y is going to be equal to 2x minus 4 plus 1. And then we'll peel off our transformations like the petals of an onion. So here, let's go ahead and get rid of this transformation. This becomes a 1 is equal to 2x raised to the negative 4. And now, let's go ahead and peel off this transformation, and we're left with y is equal to 2 raised to the x. We'll go ahead and number these in order. Here's our original function, here's our first transformation, and here's our third transformation. The graph of our first function is just the graph of a regular exponential. If we look at the graph of our second function, what we're doing is when we replace x with an x minus 4, again, we're just going to be moving our function to the right-hand side. So we're going to be moving our function to the right by 4 units. So our function looks something like this. And in step 3, we'll be adding 1 to our function. So we're going to move all the y values up by 1. So our function should look something like this, where our horizontal asymptote is now y is equal to 1. Okay, so we completed part A. Let's go ahead and look at part B. In part B, we're given the function f of x is equal to 3 minus a 1/5 raised to the x. Rewriting this real fast using y, we get y is equal to 3 minus a 1/5 raised to the x. This is equivalent to a negative 1/5 raised to the x plus 3 here. What we can see is the plus 3 is going to raise our function up by 1. So let's go ahead and peel that piece off, and we're going to get a negative 1/5 raised to the x. Now we have this negative sign, which is going to flip over the x-axis. So we can go ahead and remove this too. And we're left with our original function, which is going to be 1 divided by 5 raised to the x. Let's go ahead and write this again sequentially. This is going to be our first graph. This is our second graph. This is our third graph. So from 1 to 2, again, we reflect along the x-axis. And from 2 to 3, we're just going to push vertically up by 3. So we'll go ahead and draw it down here. Our first graph has the following shape. Our second graph, again, we're going to reflect this across the x-axis, which means it's going to look something like this. And then in our third graph, we're going to go ahead and push horizontally up by 3 units. Something like this. And this last graph here is the answer we're looking for.